It's a choice to live with this virus. And with all due respect, you don't have a choice to go out and drink and drive and put everybody else's lives at risk.
We have to knock on those doors, and we have to convince people and put them in a car and drive them and get that vaccine in their arm.
Does the president favor restrictions for unvaccinated people when it comes to restaurants, museums, concerts?
The president favors using the CDC as his North Star and what the health and medical experts are going to advise on how to save more lives.
Chairman Leahy, Leader McCarthy, Senator Casey, Congressman... Where is he? There you are, Paul. You understand this better than anybody does. I want to thank you, Congressman, for all your work. Where's Mom?
Spud Webb. Tyler Flanagan. So, I hope you're all doing all right. Happy Monday. Problem?
No. Why would there be a problem? I was turning on the advanced scene switcher.
Alice, thank you so much for noticing something today. I haven't heard anybody say anything about it or really go deep into their souls to caress a need that everybody has. What did you notice today, Alice, that people in Massachusetts and the Northeast are noticing? What's that?
Sorry, my phone went off.
Who is it?
Potential spam.
Oh, good.
My favorite friend. So it was a bit hazy outside today, honey.
Did you know that? My goodness, I was noticing. I had no idea what it was.
I was yelled at in the driveway for saying, wow, the smoke, huh? Because I went out to cover the tractor before it rained, and Tom came out, and I said, wow, look at the smoke, huh? And he went...
Oh, my goodness.
He went off on me.
I wonder what it is. Nobody's champing at the bit to say, oh, wildfires out west. Yeah, wildfires out west. It's like this need. It's the same thing when you see campfire movies and somebody hears some weird animal and goes, what's that? And some guy who's been doing it forever, was eating his beans out of his tin thing, says, just coyotes. You know, people love to say that. Yeah, just coyotes. Wildfires out west. Wildfires out west. I actually put it on Facebook just to F around, and of course, it's to ask Hillary Chabot, because we joked about this. Who's in it, and people are like, wildfires out west. Somebody sent me a screenshot of the NOAA Atlantic weather thing. There are wildfires. Is the air quality normal, though? Has it changed at all, Alice, or is the air quality different now?
Well, now I'm crying.
It's
laughing.
so pathetic. That if everybody has to, I get to say wildfires out west. I get to say that. I just wanted to say it. It's okay. People hanging around trying to listen, sidling up to groups of people saying, I wonder what's going on with the sky. Right? Oh, yeah, wildfires out west. Wildfires out west. It's so pathetic. Stop saying it, okay? This need to feel special.
It wasn't a need to feel special. I was just out there with you in it, and I commented. I knew you knew what it was. I just said, wow, the smoke, huh? That was the whole instead of what I said, and I got accosted with this tirade. I have to take it because everybody else commented about the fire.
Yes, you triggered me. You didn't quite say. If you had said wildfires out west, we would have had a freaking problem. If I had asked you and you said... Or maybe I did, actually. Can't believe it. I can't believe the joy. People love, we've got a new thing in Word we can say. My goodness. It was so interesting. It's like people have this thing. Like after 9/11, and they were going to give pilots guns in the cockpit, everybody in the world suddenly learned cabin depressurization. You can't go out the window, then you have sudden cabin depressurization. Yep. That was the wildfires out west of now. It makes
Can you imagine living with these kind of hang-ups?
It's a matter of this is the goal. Here's the goal in life is to not say the thing that you really want to say. This is why we're different than the monkey. Because the monkey wants to find its excrement and throw it.
A lot of your listeners are about to get offended because they've been all saying wildfires out west all day.
We're not monkeys. Our first inclination and reflex, we should push back against. We should try to be civilized and not say it. So if you're in a group of people somewhere in a house party, let's say everybody hangs around the kitchen. Isn't it weird how everybody ends up hanging around the kitchen? If you're doing that and some person said, look, looks like your AC's broken over there. And somebody else says, oh, wow, who are you going to call? The excrement that's right there to throw is to say Ghostbusters. But don't. Pause for a moment and refrain from saying the thing that the monkey would say.
Or you could just make small talk like a normal person, too.
You know what the correct response to, as of now, when there's been 83 billion texts and posts on social media to what's the hazy, shady, why is it so hazy out? The correct response is F you is the correct response. And that's what you should do. If you're listening right now, if somebody asks or even brings it up, wildfires out west. It was so funny. I was talking, people, some of you guys know Hillary Chabot, who I used to work with at the Herald. Mm-hmm. We had a love-hate relationship. It was really a love relationship, I would say, Alice. But we were antagonistic to each other a lot. And so we would try to harass each other a lot. And she also is somebody who, I guarantee you right now, is thinking about rolling a grenade into a room of people who are saying wildfires out west. Mm-hmm. There was a time that she and I were riding up the elevator at the Herald. And she doesn't want to be anybody to talk to her. She doesn't want any, and I'm right there with her. She doesn't want any problems. She doesn't want anybody to suddenly bring up the wildfires or that. She wants to be left alone. She's antisocial. Okay. Mm-hmm. Sometimes she's social, but not some way. She doesn't want people to. She doesn't want to get caught in a cliche conversation. She does not want it. She hates it. So she and I are going into the Herald, and we're in the elevator. Some other people get in the elevator. Hillary's got her arms full of something. I forgot what it was. Posters, books, or something she was doing. Mm-hmm. Whatever. Maybe we both did, but she was especially encumbered by what she had. Whatever. I
assume you weren't carrying.
I probably did ask her, and she said, no, I'm fine. She doesn't want me to help her carry stuff. She just wants to take the elevator, whatever. So people get on the elevator, and I thought, this is way too good. Way too good. There's a chance to make Hillary's life hell here. So once the people get on the elevator, I say to her, wow, you sure are carrying a lot. And immediately the person next to us, and Hillary just texted me and said the person next to us said, you need more arms. So that was like directing a wildfires out west shot at her. I don't know where these wildfires are. I don't care where they are. I know that I do think it's kind of cool that we can't see the clouds, and so we're hearing thunder, but we can't see it. Mm-hmm. Do you know why?
Are there wildfires out west?
Out west. Uh-huh. And also, some people say it in a way as to project it's climate change. Wildfires out west. But it's our new reality. They say it in that kind of voice, It's a new normal now. It's wildfires out west. You saw there's flooding, right? You saw the apartment building in Florida, too, that fell. That's... Yep. Better wear a mask. So do you apologize for saying wildfires? For talking about it?
I apologize for talking about it.
Who else was that calling you?
That was a different potential spam. The first potential spam was a 508 number, and the second potential spam was a 617 number.
Okay, I've just published our domestic dispute on locals. It should be showing any time now. Which was a different subject, right? What was that subject?
I don't remember what we were fighting about.
It was something that you said.
Oh, it was because you were mocking me, saying that I just like to live on the edge all the time. Yes, that's what that was. It was I just like to live on the edge.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, because your camera. Did we talk? Okay. You can see
it's on Twitter now. You can go watch the video. No, it's not on Twitter.
It's on Locals.
It's on Locals.
It's exclusive.
Well, burnbarrel.locals.com. You can make it visible to the public, so there's posts on Locals that people can see, but only people who join the community can comment. I don't want
people to see our domestic dispute. Our ugly domestic dispute.
Okay, well then, make it members only, and only the exclusive members will be able to see the domestic dispute.
Members only like the jacket? Ghostbusters? Wildfires?
Well, it is
So let
interesting
me-
that you say that, though, because there's a host of things that, as a woman with a lot of kids, people will say to you that
Yeah.
are like that. Like, chief among them is, you sure have your hands full.
Oh,
That's, like, it reminded me of it when you said the Hillary Chabot one. And then they know what causes that now is another favorite for people to tell you if you have a lot of kids.
really?
Yeah.
What is that supposed to mean?
It's supposed to mean use birth control.
Oh, people say that?
People say they know what causes that now. Yeah.
Like, publicly?
Yeah.
To you?
Yeah.
You should stab whoever says that. What?
Yeah, well.
God. First, can you imagine? You know what this is? It's the Ned Ryerson syndrome. Needle Nose Ned the Head, bing again from Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
That's who it is, except he was actually trying to sell insurance. These other people who need to say something. You know, when I used to use the backpack, and these are probably good, nice people, but I used to wear the backpack and put the kid in the backpack. Mm-hmm. Whenever, undoubtedly, guess what I would get when I'd walk past a group
People
of people?
wanted you to put a hat on the baby.
Well, no, that's a-holes. That's different. Those are different, and those people deserve a death. I'm sorry. A conclusion.
Master Blaster?
No, that would be somewhat appreciated. No, he's got the best seat in the house. They look at the baby in the backpack riding and say, got the best seat in the house. Best seat in the house. Requires me, and they go, oh, yeah.
Life must be really difficult for you.
So I want you to know how things are. And this is, I'm going to let you guys in on a little something here. And we're going to get to all this stuff going on here. And there's some good stuff. The real stuff. This is Alice. These are my texts. These are Alice's texts versus my texts. Now, some of Alice's texts go to my phone.
Just some of them?
Okay, so here's some of them that I get. July 7th, July 19th. PF member, which is Planet Fitness member. There was a problem with your billing info. Please call us. I got 83 of those, which has now been fixed. That means we have maxed out on the credit card, I assume, but I don't want to know.
No, it means that my card was canceled because there was fraud on it. And since you used my card to sign up for everything, which is why there's fraud on it, it means that when I replaced the card, all the memberships stopped. So they all had to be changed.
I want
to
to
the
show
new
one of
card.
your loser texts compared to my winner texts. This is too good. Phil Ellis, this is
I don't know what you're planning on doing.
because you just can't handle it, Alice.
What?
Your husband is cool and in demand.
What, like when somebody called you Fonzie on Twitter?
Wait, was that, then who are you?
They said that you are Fonzie and Carano and I were something else from the show. And I said, what are these other things from it? Because I was like, I know who Fonzie is, but not the other people.
Yeah, Potsy and the other guy. Dang it.
It's okay. You don't have to read my texts. It's
No,
fine.
I had one from Verizon saying that we were in trouble for something. I assume this is cell phones. Now listen to the text I get. This is from...
Why are you going to read my text?
This is not from you. This
Okay.
is from... you probably wish it was, Alice, but this is... You get text from Verizon saying, pay us, and Planet Fitness saying, pay us. This is what I get. Hi. Are you Gray? I'm Mandy. We messaged on Tinder before when I went down to see my aunt, but we never met in person. I'm back in town right now if you want to actually meet up this time. Are you free? Why are you laughing? You see? I'm in demand, Alice. She has the wrong name. Honest mistake. But I have a friend named Gray.
That's true.
Correct. So I text back to Mandy, yes, I would like that very much.
Can you just not give her any of our financial information?
Too late. I already sent it over. I'm keeping this text.
Okay.
This counts as somebody hitting on me. I realize that this is a 53-year-old Kazakhstanian semi-terrorist human trafficker dude who weighs more than me somehow. But I choose to believe...
But they said their name's Mandy, so it's a hot
Yes.
chick then. Okay.
That's right. All right. To the world, Alice. Why are you laughing?
Because you're laughing.
So this is... It's so interesting how It's not interesting, actually. It's freaking predictable, disgusting, and disappointing that the models, we've done modeling now, the models that we've set out for terrible behavior from people, especially elected people in this country, the worst case scenario models are all coming to fruition. It is remarkable. We all know 15 days to stop the spread. Fine. We're working on a vaccine. That's fine. Gotta go do remote schooling. That's fine. Still can't go to the schools. Okay, then the world has to shut down for a while. Restaurants have to shut down. We're now handing out all sorts of money while we destroy the world. We're now going to hand out all sorts of money to make sure we have inflation. Fine. Somehow, miracle of miracles, we get the vaccination, and they roll it out, and we now can have. We're good enough so that we can have July 4th. We're told now we can go back to normal. We can have July 4th. Go back into the gym without wearing masks or anything like that. We knew other variants were coming.
Yeah.
A variant comes. We've inoculated just about half of the country.
Yeah. Anybody who wants to be
Right.
vaccinated can now be vaccinated.
Right. Masks are gone. All this stuff is gone, etc. Now, even though we have inoculated 140 million people, whatever it is,
Right.
which is pretty damn remarkable, who are now not COVID eligible in the most extreme way, or the whatever.
Right.
Now, we now have to extend these states of emergency in the states and extend emergency powers for governors, and which is incentivized, of course, by the Fed because they're handing out money. And now, even though you've got 140 million Americans vaccinated, the people who aren't vaccinated, who can get it anytime they want, who have had all the time in the world to get it.
Yeah. There's been walk-in appointments now for months, so there's no...
Right, exactly. Even though we're at a period now where the worst case scenario, the reason we had to enter a state of emergency last year, we're in a period now where that threat is no longer existing. The pull on our resources that will result in multitudes of deaths at hospitals, etc., that is now over. That is gone. If in effect, this country of 330 million people is now a country of 160 million people, and we have plenty of resources. There are N95 masks and all these everything. We've got everything we
There's
need.
PPE, there's ventilators.
Exactly.
There's all the things.
So that doesn't exist. But now, if you didn't get vaccinated, it started with, we wholeheartedly tell you that please try to get vaccinated. But if you didn't now, you are a son of a bitch. Not only that, but you're now going to kill the rest of us who did the right thing. So you, unvaccinated, by not being vaccinated, are going to kill us who did the right thing, the vaccinated, because you didn't get vaccinated. You didn't take the vaccine that would protect you from COVID, but doesn't protect us from COVID, apparently, because you didn't get vaccinated. We're in a new area here where not only are things not connected or lashed or strung to solid ground, this is just straight up pure horse bleep. This is Gavin Newsom today yelling at half of America.
It's a choice to live with this virus. And with all due respect, you don't have a choice to go out and drink and drive and put everybody else's lives at risk. That's the equivalent of this moment with the deadliness and efficiency of the Delta virus. You're putting other people's, innocent people's lives at risk.
So in this metaphor, the innocent peoples are you and I, because we got vaccinated.
Right.
Okay. And he said everybody else, because you didn't get vaccinated, you're putting everybody else at risk. So the everybody else equals the vaccinated.
Yep.
Because it's the unvaccinated versus the vaccinated. Now, isn't everybody else then, you and I, now immune from being killed by a drunk driver in this metaphor?
I mean, pretty likely, yeah. I mean, there are occasionally people who are at high risk or who are immunocompromised or whatever can still possibly die from COVID, but their odds are much
But he said
reduced.
you're putting everybody at risk. That's not everybody.
No.
And you're just talking about, you're not even giving metrics and data of this happening. You're saying it's possible.
Well, it's happened in a few cases. There are a few vaccinated people dying. That's true.
Is everybody at risk of dying?
No.
I
mean, first of all, think about the fact that the virus originally had a 99.8% survival rate. Now your chances of getting it at all have been reduced by another 90%, right? And now your chance of dying, if you do get it, has been reduced probably by another 90%. So we're talking about a really small chance. Like, if you get in your car and drive to the grocery store, that's the type of risk we're talking about.
Right.
That's like as scary a thing to do as be around an unvaccinated person. It's really not like you're mostly putting other unvaccinated people at risk if you're unvaccinated.
But if you're, let's say, in Newsom's, I'm going to play Newsom again.
It's a choice to live with this virus. And with all due respect, you don't have a choice to go out and drink and drive and put everybody else's lives at risk.
So if you're unvaccinated
Mm-hmm.
and you say, you know what? I don't even believe the vaccines work. I don't believe in them. And Gavin Newsom tells you that if you get vaccinated, you're now at risk from the unvaccinated. Is that going to make you believe more in the vaccines or less?
Less. Definitely less.
So what the frig is the messaging with this stuff?
They're flailing because they don't know how to get more people to be vaccinated.
Well, but Alice, what is the catastrophic event that happens if they don't? Remember, the catastrophic...
Some unvaccinated people die?
Right. And the catastrophic event last year was we'd be overrun. Mm-hmm. That's why we're in this special area. That's gone now. Mm-hmm. So what is the catastrophic event? Or am I looking in the wrong place? Are their minds now warped to say that, no, we need a net zero, it has to be net zero loss in
They want to get
infections.
to zero, yes.
But you know that we'll never get to zero.
Right.
And so until we get to zero, it has to be a state of emergency and all the normal rules, et cetera, go out the window.
Mm-hmm.
So in these states, all of these lockdowns and all these draconian measures like people like Newsom are putting out there, in these states, you're using these lockdowns now and these extraordinary powers that these governors are given. This now, what you've done now is make an end around legislatures, which means if somebody has a problem with all this stuff, with being told to mask, etc., they can't go to their congressman because their congressman can't vote on any of this because it's the governor who runs everything.
Right.
So they're just going to say, hey, nothing I can do. So people don't have a say in this anymore because we've got the emergency measures now. Mm-hmm. This is a self-repeating monolith we've created here. Go ahead, Cyril. You're so close to out the door. Go ahead. Go ahead. You can walk out there,
You
buddy.
can take the phone downstairs, buddy.
No.
No, he says.
Thank you, buddy. Oh, so close. So, where do you ever get... And even though now, and we're still doing the thing with kids as well, even though your kid is more likely to die of the flu now officially than COVID, still kids have to take measures as if they're going to die from COVID, and they don't have to with the flu.
Right.
So,
although I assume in the future they're probably going to do this with the
right.
flu too.
This can't sustain. It can't.
Oh, now you're in trouble. No, this isn't gonna... I don't understand how people will put up with this forever. I mean, I assume some people will and some people won't, right? And I think it's gonna, to an extent, self-sort. Like, Florida is still free, so I think a lot of people are going to move to Florida. I saw your friend Rudy on Twitter saying, and I don't know what the source of this is, but I believe him saying on Twitter that 300,000 Republicans have moved to Florida. That there is an increase of 300K voter registrations, Republican voter registrations in Florida. So, you know, and I think that people like you and I look at stuff like that too. We're like, we're 2 towns away from New Hampshire. What are we doing here with these idiots all the time? Like, so, and then, you know, as more people like us move out of more states like Massachusetts to states like Florida or New Hampshire or Texas or wherever, that, you know, that the places like Massachusetts will just turn into like forever mask places, and like Florida won't.
Right. And this can only increase velocity into madness. It can only increase. Mm-hmm. What is critical mass? Does that apply here?
Critical mass is like when you reach a point, like a tipping point. Right?
Okay, let's say critical mass in this situation is Australia-type measures. Mm-hmm. Why would you believe we're not headed for that? Why not? They're doing the unbelievable now. A year and a half ago, we would have said there's no way you're going to throw a mask on a kid in the school year. There's no way it's going to be remote, etc. There's no way we're going to have authorities and the Coast Guard chasing body surfers in California. There's no way any of this stuff. But all this stuff happened. Mm-hmm. And then it paused for Black Lives Matter, and then it happened again. And then we had people telling us, highly paid government experts, telling us how to serve from crock pots for Thanksgiving.
Right.
We're in crazy world here. So to think that we won't be asking each other this question soon is if in a blue state is naive. Could you go out for a jog right now for 5 miles, like down the street and back, or would somebody hassle you?
That we're allowed to go out for 5 reasons.
I love how Jamie said it too, like very matter of factly. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, as long as we have one of the 5 reasons. Like, wow, man, they've beat the hell out of you. I know you're listening, Jamie. I'm not saying that you're weak or anything. I'm just saying that your government has beat the hell out of you guys.
Yeah.
And I think, well, that's why he joined us.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, Jamie, I played that on the air today in Connecticut, just so you know.
That may have even more listeners than the Bird Barrel podcast.
In C'est Impossible. Well, I can tell you one thing. Actually, I will not be saying anything possibly critical about my employer. Actually, Alice, I'd like to table that. I think that we do very well in Connecticut. I love it. I love TIC. It's a great audience, and thank you guys for listening. You should all co-mingle, and what do bees do? Double phosphate, cross-phosphate.
Cross-pollinate?
Yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. I feel uncomfortable. All right, so from Newsom to Cuomo, but this is
It's been a while since we've had a good Cuomo.
I got to tell you, I do like him. I do like him in a way that you like Lex Luthor when Gene Hackman played him in Superman. You don't remember. You don't know who those people are, or that is at all. But it's sometimes people are good at playing the bad guy. Dabney Coleman was great at this stuff.
And we have to get in those communities, and we have to knock on those doors, and we have to convince people and put them in a car and drive them
to a shallow grave and put a bullet in the back of their heads and get some lime and fill up the hole. Saw the body up into pieces.
I think they must just be trolling. Like, there's no way that all these Democrats didn't see the news cycle freak out about the door knocking thing, and he just said, like, screw it. I'm just going to go out there and take it up a notch. We're not only going to knock on doors, we're going to throw people into unmarked cars and drive them off.
Honey, there's an oversized 1970s era Cadillac in the driveway. You have any idea that might be?
And get that vaccine in their arm. That is the mission.
Oh, my goodness. That is the mission. We're going to go door to door and grab them.
Throw you in the car. Get that vaccine in your arm. Woo.
All right. Little Saki, Alice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, well, no. Let's keep on with this for a moment. This is Leanna Wen again. She is on a roll. She is the spiritual leader of the left's COVID approach. She is way more gung ho than Fauci man. He is a softie compared to her. She is the religious leader. Maybe he's the figurehead.
We're seeing vaccinated people also get infections. Now, they tend to not be severe infections, which points to the effectiveness of the vaccine. But it's possible that, especially with the Delta variant, we could still get ill. We could pass it on to our family members. And so I think it's really...
She said it's possible that we could still get ill. Well, why are we working with possible here? Anything's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's possible that horrible things will happen all the time. It's possible.
Important that vaccinated people stop thinking that we're fully protected. We're very well protected.
Wait a second. It's important that vaccinated people stop thinking that we're fully protected. But you said we'd be fully protected.
Mm-hmm.
Just months ago, Fauci said you'll be fully protected. You're going to be fully protected. Everybody said no, now we're less protected somehow. Got a ratchet. What are you looking at?
I was trying to find that tweet thread from the doctor in Australia how she goes to the grocery store.
Yeah, I think that's fairly close to the bottom.
But as long as there are people around us who are continuing to spread COVID-19, that's actually making us less safe.
But barely, according to her, and possibly according to her. My God, it's okay. I think we're allowed to be less safe. We live in a country where we have freedom of movement, and we're a little less safe, and we don't need, 5 reasons to go outdoors until we're completely safe. It's not what we're here for.
And I also think that the idea of all of us going back to wearing masks again, a lot of people don't want to hear that, but we should actually not see this as failure of the vaccine. We should see it as the failure of individuals to make the responsible choice. By people saying, I'm not going to get vaccinated, they're actually choosing to endanger everybody else, and they're prolonging the pandemic.
Those bastards, so go and kill them.
Yeah, so it's deleted. She deleted the tweet.
No!
She caught too much grief over it, I guess. But this anesthesiologist in Australia or whatever had a tweet thread about how she goes grocery shopping. Everybody, one person from their household never brings the kids. She wears a mask and goggles and uses hand sanitizer before going in the store. She spends a maximum of 15 minutes in the store. She doesn't browse. She doesn't feel the avocados to see if they're ripe. She said she makes sure that she goes...
Click it and pick it.
Yep. If she can't do click and collect, she spends a maximum of 15 minutes in the store and usually closer to 7 while masked and goggled and not spent. And Australia, as we pointed out, has 14 COVID cases or something.
So I want you to listen to something else.
Mm-hmm.
This is in Hartford today. They're talking about remasking, etc., and the prospect of doing it. So this is in West Hartford, which is it's a nice part of Hartford. Think of Beacon Hill and Boston, okay? In West Hartford, this is a man on the street, a couple of interviews, talking about keeping masks on kids. Here's a woman named Martha Guidry, and this is her take on keeping masks on kids.
Maybe they get the Delta variant and they're not very sick, but what do we know about 10, 20 years down the road, what impact that may have on their health, their personal well-being? We just don't know the answer to that.
We don't know. Something could happen in 20 years.
Right. So
the 4-year-old has to wear a mask now. Something we have no idea.
Yeah. They could also just be hit by a car tomorrow.
Or any of the other billion things a kid will ingest may manifest into something in 20 years. But we don't know. So we don't know. It's 20 years. She's fine with it. And this is a guy named Greg Cole, also in West Hartford. He's walking. He's pro-masking for the kids. He's walking with 2 kids, and he's got a mask on as well. And now he's going to tell us. You're going to hear what a good person Greg Cole is, walking with his 2 small children.
Okay. Maybe they get the...
Oh, sorry.
I really wear a mask because I don't want to ask them to do something I'm not going to do myself. And they still need to wear a mask in public, especially in closed spaces.
So he's going to wear the mask because he's going to make his kid wear the mask.
Right.
So because he's asking his kid to do something dumb, he's going to do something dumb too.
Right.
Okay.
He's going to wear the mask because it's only fair because they have to wear the mask, which means that he has to wear the mask because they have to wear the mask because, according to him, they have to wear the mask.
Mm-hmm. Well, you remember even when they first lifted the mask guideline for vaccinated people, and I forget who it was. I think it was a CNN talking head person who said that she was confused if she was allowed when she was walking her kid home from the bus stop. If, like, she said, like, should I take off my mask or should I not? Because my kid can't take off her mask walking home with me from the bus stop.
Right.
That's a deranged life philosophy.
These are all very well off people, very credentialed people.
Mm-hmm.
What is this thing where, oh, you guys, obviously you have to wear the mask, but don't worry, Daddy will do it with you. Where does that come from? Who's saying that the kids have to wear the mask, by the way? Out and outside? Who's saying that? Other than a group of scared people who have been broken and had all reason taken from them in the last year or more. Imagine putting the mask on the kid. Yeah. Why don't you just throw the kid in the fire pit? It's like, jeez, it's what it seems like. It's like this weird sacrificial thing.
Yeah, like what won't you do then? Like we already know liberals will like decide not to have kids for climate change. Mm-hmm. Like Meghan and Harry, that's one of their things. They've pledged to stick to just 2 kids to combat climate change.
Good.
Which I think it's good. They probably stick to 2 kids.
Read about that in one of the 7 books coming up. A lot of the royal family screwed them.
But so we already know that liberals will choose not to have kids for climate change, which is also a public health emergency, at least on par with COVID, according to them. So we know that they'll do that. I assume they'll probably get abortions to prevent climate change.
Oh,
but
of course.
But now with the mask thing, I wonder, they probably would just euthanize their own kid for climate change if it came down to it, if Fauci told them they should.
Well, and isn't that the key? And for climate change, and we've had, and I'm going to credit the commentary podcast for mentioning this today.
Mm-hmm.
You've had the pandemic health emergency.
Mm-hmm.
You've had racism, which is a public health emergency.
Right.
And climate change is a public health emergency.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you can see it's killing people everywhere. If you haven't noticed you haven't noticed this yet, but if you look outside, the sky is actually darker and more hazy, yes, than usual. That's from wildfires out west, just coyotes. Yep. So we're already conditioned to operate in states of emergency now. We've been doing it for a year and a half,
right?
Without having to vote, without having local lawmakers who represent us delivering our opinions and feelings and wishes to the body of state government, because they've been carved out of it because the governors now are in charge of everything.
Yeah. I mean, but I really, I just wonder, what wouldn't people do at this point if Fauci told them to do it?
I don't know. I
don't know. I just am curious where the line is for most people. Like, is there something that Fauci could tell you to do that you just wouldn't do? So what's interesting now, too, is like any weird cult religion like this, where there's I believe I'm sitting here in this room with a scholar of the French Revolution.
Correct.
So,
may we?
So, in all these sort of cultural revolution things, right? You have people performatively trying to outdo each other with how much over the top they believe in it and are into it. And so now this thing that, I originally was seeing this as a joke in right-wing circles, of people getting extra vaccines. There was a joke meme with the vaccine card where instead of just 2, it was as long as a piece of paper and had 15 vaccine shot dates on it, right? The vaccine card with a bunch of different dates.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now there's actually serious people who are getting extra additional vaccines before there's been an approved booster shot or any study on it. There's people who are going out and getting extra vaccines. So I just stumbled on this thread last night. Somebody asked, would you get a booster vaccine shot if the CDC recommended it? And instead of answering that question, 75% of the replies were people saying they've already gotten more than the initial shot or shots.
Well, if 1 is good, 7 is gooder.
Yeah. And they're outdoing each other. So a lot of people, because I guess there has been some studies in Europe, instead of doing 2 AstraZeneca vaccines, so AstraZeneca is roughly the same technology as the Johnson & Johnson. It's a more traditional vaccine, what's called an adenovirus vaccine. And they they've been boosting it with Pfizer rather than with a second AstraZeneca. And they've been saying it gives people better protection. So a lot of people who get Johnson & Johnson have decided they want extra vaccines, even though the CDC or anything isn't recommending that yet. So somebody says, we should expect this to be a possibility, especially for J&J folks. And then somebody else says, I got J&J. I'm waiting to see if it's safe to get a Pfizer or a Moderna. And then somebody else says, I got the J&J back in March, and last week after research, I went and got the Pfizer at Walgreens, and the wife did it too.
Oh, great.
My understanding from friends who got the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines is the place sets you up for a second shot for the first, but you're not getting a second, right? Just the original J&J and then this booster? And they say, right, I signed up online with Walgreens and they make you choose a date for your second shot. Initially, I just planned on getting the first one as a boost, but now I'm seeing others in the same boat getting both and thinking I'll follow that through as well. Somebody else says, my husband and I both got J&J. He decided to get the Pfizer and his second was yesterday. I'm not sure what I'll do.
All these people are walking Wuhan labs now.
And then the person asks them, your husband received 2 Pfizer after J&J? And she replies, yes, the pharmacist recommended 2 based on the feedback she's getting from customers. So the customers are coming in and demanding additional shots.
Only a matter of time.
They want
I'll get
more.
2 of the J&J, 1 Pfizer, 1 Moderna, and 1 fish tank cleaner, please. Oh, my God. Okay. That's fine.
Very normal. That's
fine. It's absolutely normal. By the way, so listen to this. This is the Channel 3 Eyewitness News wrap. I've kind of jazzed it up montage-wise, but I want you to just listen to the anchor, how he describes Fauci.
Vaccination rates in the U.S. have slowed as COVID cases are surging.
Hang on, it's coming.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, one of the nation's most trusted sources during this pandemic.
Almost blew chunks. Can you imagine? One of the most trusted sources during the pandemic. Who exactly are you asking?
Not Fauci, because Fauci will tell you himself that he lied for clout early and often.
When you attack him, you're attacking the science, Alice. Maybe you didn't know
And
that.
truth itself.
Yes, exactly. So let's go. Let's see now. Back to the burn barrel. Jen Psaki on White House COVID cases. You remember the last time a reporter asked this, she demanded to know why the reporter needed to know. I'm sure she could let her employer know that she didn't appreciate the question. But she was asked again.
Has the White House had any additional staffers test positive for COVID-19?
I think, again, our policy, just to reiterate it, which we announced last week, is
The question was, what?
Have you had any additional staff test positive?
Okay, so here we go.
that if there's an individual who has close proximity to any of the 4 principles as defined by the White House Medical Unit in line with CDC guidelines on what that looks like, we will then make that information available and immediately public to all of you. So that has not been the case since we announced that policy.
At all seem dodgy or deflectionary at all. At all. That seems to me a straight up answer. Yes. Wow. Excellent transparency.
Does the president favor restrictions for unvaccinated people when it comes to restaurants, museums, concerts?
The president...
Does he favor restrictions? Mm-hmm. She says the president...
favors using the CDC as his North Star and what the health and medical experts are going to advise on how to save...
No, but she asked what he favors.
Yeah.
His personal...
Preference,
sure, exactly. What he favors.
more lives and protect people.
So no, he doesn't think that there should be restrictions on unvaccinated people like some other countries have instituted.
He believes that we should be guided by the science and by the data. And so he will look to his health and medical team to advise on what steps we should take.
That's his preference.
Mm-hmm. Fauci runs the country now.
That's his preference. Guided by the science and the data. So there you go. Biden today did have a little bit of trouble remembering a congressman's name.
Chairman Leahy, Leader McCarthy, Senator Casey, Congressman Scott, Congressman... Where is he? There you are, Paul. You understand this better than anybody does. I want to thank you, Congressman, for all your work. And I want to thank you all for being here. Second, by the way, where's Mom?
It's somebody there at the bill signing. He's looking for her mother. Of course, the mother's not there because why would this donkey, say something that would make sense? So he's looking for the mother. Not there.
Is she here? Oh, she's watching. Okay, I thought you looked. I said, Mom is out there. I was going to ask her to stand up, but Mom, you can't stand up and if you're home.
Okay, put it out of its misery.
Chairman
Joe.
Leahy.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Thank you. That was well worth it. My goodness.
Also, big news in Massachusetts. Joe has nominated District Attorney Rachel Rollins.
Right.
To be the new U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts.
Rachel Rollins, who is happy to talk about skin pigment, doesn't want to hear from white men talking to her, has enough of that, has 15 or so laws that she will not prosecute in Massachusetts, including theft and some other ones, because out of equity, who's a psychotic, and now she's going to get a federal job. So there you go. That's excellent. Anything else going on, Alice?
Speaking of equity, wasn't there a statement that came out of the White House that said we're going to beat the virus with equity?
Oh, yeah. What was that? That was this Secretary of State's office, I think.
It had a picture of Biden on it, though, the quote.
Oh, maybe it was. Oh, God. That's right. I might have tweeted it.
I don't know where that was. That was right before.
I think the T-Dog might have tweeted that out.
I'll look at your Twitter then, maybe.
That's right. Department of State. Sorry about that. And it shows Biden saying, we're going to fight this virus with equity. Equity for all. And the State Department tweeted that out today.
That's how you can tell we're really serious about fighting the virus.
Absolutely.
We're going to use the most powerful tool in our toolbox, equity. So,
and the people responding to it say, so booster now, mask mandate now, vax for kids under 12 years ASAP.
So I'm a bit confused about the booster shot position anyway, though, because I don't think that's actually the wokest position, because I'm pretty sure equity-wise, you're supposed to want us to give out more vaccines globally than have rich white people in the United States getting 17 in a row when they've already had them.
Right. So that is not equity. Yes, that's favoritism is not necessarily equity. And also, you might wonder why this is a statement coming from the State Department.
Mm-hmm.
Because it seems like Anthony Blinken would have other things to do, and foreign relations might be something that's
I don't think there's anything serious going on in the world, though.
No.
I wouldn't say that.
No, but this is what we do right now. Instead of working with the Cuban revolutionaries, the new revolutionaries out there today, and trying to broker something, we're having them making woke statements. This is what their comms team is geared to. Mm-hmm. For a reason, because the guy at the top is geared to that. And the guy at the very top is Ron Klain, and he's woke, and he's this is exactly where he wants to be. Where he wants to be focusing his energy. My goodness. Hold on, I'm just trying okay, good. All right, Alice, I think I am done. That is my pile of stuff. I am done. How are you?
I am also all set, and I'll try not to mention the haziness outside to
what
you
do you think,
ever
What do you think's causing it? I don't even know. Let me check Facebook and see how many more replies I've gotten to that. I just want to know what's causing it. Is it the fires from the west? Okay, here we go. There's actually some funny ones here. After somebody said smoke from the west. God, people love saying the west. Then another guy tweets that air quality alert, smoke, etc. Then they finally gets the joke and he says blame Canada. And then somebody said Snoop Dogg opened the car window, which I appreciate it. Cheech and Chong's grandson, which I appreciate. You don't know who Cheech and Chong are. Don't worry about it. Somebody says, I smell some smoke in Brighton as well. I wonder what do you think's the smell in Brighton, the smoke smell?
Smoke from the west?
I think it's the smoke from the west, yeah. There you go, Ghostbusters. It's all happening, Alice.
Ghostbusters from the west.
Okay, let's wrap this again. Ugh.
Why don't you take it today?
What was that thing? Follow us on Facebook at Burn Barrel Podcast and Twitter at Tom Shattuck and at Burn Barrel Podcast, and sign up for Locals, where the video should be done uploading in about 63 hours. And you can also get us at Tinder at Tom Shattuck.
C'est La Vie.
Mandy, I'll be calling you.